Hi everyone, it's Rachel Kleinman from rwcrafts.com. Today I'm sharing two ATCs that I created that focus on using distress watercolor pencils. So you will see these out throughout the whole video. So the first ATC I'm creating will be a cool tone, and you see I'm starting by tracing the openings of this stencil. I am tracing every single little circle there with cracked pistachio. And then I will go in again and trace the other openings with peacock feathers. So right now with a dry pencil, I'm just tracing the outline. And then I'm also kind of filling in the left-hand side because I want more color on that side. So you see I'm doing that here. And by having more color, once we do get it wet, you will get more color in the opening of the stencil. And this is a technique that I learned recently from one of Jen Shirkis's distress watercolor pencil classes that she held. So this was actually my favorite technique that she shared. And I just love how easy it is and the impact that you get. So you see that I'm not removing my stencil yet. So right now I'm painting it over with water. So I'm just dipping my brush in that water cup there. And I like to kind of pull at the coloring that's already down. So before I spread the water around, you see that I kind of work to loosen up the color there, and that helps it spread, I find, easier with the water. So now I'm doing the same thing with the stencil here, but this one will be more of a warm tone. So I first did Pick Raspberry. I have to think of the name. So Pick Raspberry was first, and then the other one was Spice Marmalade. So that's that orange color that you're seeing there. And you see that I did more than just outline. I also did some kind of thick coloring around the edges. So again, that helps pull that color in once I'm ready to go over it with my wet paintbrush, as you see there. I really love these new stencils that I got. They will be linked in the description below. They just seem so useful for so many different things, and I love the background and how wide the opening is there. So you see it did leave an edge there on the right-hand side. I told myself I wouldn't let that bother me, but it does. So later in the video, I go and fill that part in. Now we will be working on painting all of these different sticks and flowers and foliage. This is from the Sizzix Wildflower Vault collection. So these were recently re-released. So first I went in, that is a layer of vintage photo. So you see I did that to all four of those twigs there. And now I'm just going to put a little bit of crushed olive on top. So you see that I'm dipping the watercolor pencil directly into the water cup. And then I'm also using a wet paintbrush to pick up more color. And I'm just sporadically putting it down. Now this one was a happy accident. Once I saw how much color dropped, you see that middle drop there. So this pencil was actually just soaking in the water for quite a long time while I was cleaning up the twig parts that you just saw. And so now I'm just using a very, very wet, saturated pencil, and you see I'm just like tapping it on. And that's getting all the color that I want. So I'm just, again, sporadically putting that color down. This darker green that you see is peeled paint. So now I'm going to do two of the flowers here. These will be my cool toned flowers. So for the stems here, I actually just colored dry directly on top of dried watercolor paper. If I didn't mention already, all of these were die cut from Strathmore watercolor paper. And then I just painted the color to blend with the wet water brush. Now I am coloring this flower with shaded lilac. The shaded lilac colored pencil here is really more blue focused than purple. So I'm mixing a little bit of, you see here, seedless preserves. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Villainous Potion. That's a color I'm not used to using, Villainous Potion. So I'm mixing some of the purple here to make the blue shaded lilac appear more purple in tone than just blue. So now with my other flowers, I am doing more of the warm tone. So this uses Crackling Campfire, is that red that you see I already put down on the other flower. And then I'm going in with, oh, I didn't write this one down. This must be Spice Marmalade again. So So I assume that's spice marmalade. I try to take notes as I go, you guys, but sometimes I just get in the zone and I forget to take my notes. These two flowers here really reminded me of desert wildflowers or like succulent flowers. The one on the left really reminds me of a flower that I believe is called a fire stick. So that was kind of the inspiration I had for that color there. Now back to the original ATC, I wasn't liking how much white space there was. So you see I just loosely painted in the white space that was with tumbled glass. And now we're adding some splatters. That's picked raspberry. So I just get the pencil very, very wet, as you see, and then hold it over the ATC with my paintbrush and just loosely brush that color onto the ATC. And then you get some really nice, fine splatter effects. And now I'm doing it to the cool tone one. This is with the peacock feathers. And I do like to heat set in between. So there was a lot of that heat tool usage that I cut out because you don't need to see all that. So now it's time to flower arrange. So I'm arranging my flowers here. So you see these are the cool tone ones. I thought I was done, but I wanted it to be a fuller effect. So I'm just putting all those together and then attaching them with my handy dandy tiny attacher. So now I will flower arrange the warm tone flowers. And again, I just put them in a little bunch and then use the tiny attacher there to staple them in place. And I realized that I wanted just one more texture-based thing on these ATCs. So of course, my glitter paste. I had to find a way to incorporate my love glitter paste. If you love it so much, why don't you marry it? I will. I will marry glitter paste. You see I'm really scraping down the bottom of that jar there. So this glitter paste is from Hero Arts and I'm using this splatter stencil. I picked this stencil simply because it had the wide opening that you see on the bottom. I did heat set it to dry. And now I'm just adding a little more dimension to the edges. So I'm using a blending brush to go through the cool tone ATC with peacock feathers. And then I will do the same around the edges of the warm tone with Pick Raspberry. And I have to thank you guys if you've made it this far. As I'm sure you can tell, I'm getting over a cold. So I'm talking as much as I can. So thank you for bearing with me. So I just glued those flowers down. And as you see, I mixed up the cool one onto the warm tone ATC. I just thought it popped a lot better. My original plan was to have the cool flower on the cool ATC, but that's fine. You don't have to stick to the plan. And now I just grabbed some phrases from the Ideology Small Talk sticker set. So I've had this sticker set for years and I will continue to use it for years. So I just cut those out and am gluing them on top. And there you have it, my finished flower ATCs. And I want to share, my whole reason for creating these actually was because in my neighborhood, somebody set up a free little art gallery. It's similar to the free little libraries that you may have around your neighborhood, but you are to exchange personal works of art. So I promised them I would work on some ATCs and I finally got them in. So you'll see them in the little art gallery in the last photos. So it's just a really sweet idea to give back to the neighborhood. And I hope somebody enjoys grabbing my ATCs. I grabbed a little mini lemon canvas. Thanks for joining me. Bye.